Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at it here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? I have that one performance Mustang that, guess what, also has an available 6-speed transmission, which this one has. What are we talking about? We're talking about this 2025 Mustang Dark Horse. But before we get into this V8 powered 500 horsepower Mustang, let's talk about what's going on here. So Mustang is no stranger to performance. Maybe the first iteration back in 1964 and a half when they launched it, it was called the Secretary's car, but obviously Carroll Shelby showed Ford that people wanted a high performance Mustang. Since then, there's been lots of high performance special editions, the Mach 1s, the Shelby GT350, Shelby GT500, the Boss Mustangs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Well, the Dark Horse, new to the performance lineup, brings the most horsepower ever squeezed out of a Coyote-powered V8 Mustang. But is it enough? What I want to find out is, though, with this review is not only is it enough performance, but is this really the most affordable 500 horsepower performance car that you can still get with a manual transmission? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, overall dimensions, still basically the same compared to the S550. This is the new S650 platform. Remember, when you go Dark Horse, you're getting a different front fascia. Dark Horse is gonna get you the flat metallic gray. You're still gonna get all, of course, LED lighting. I love the way they blacked out everything on the interior of the headlight housing. And then you're gonna have those massive corner air intakes that are fully functional to help bring cool air to the heat exchangers and for aerodynamics. Now, in this price point, cars that would challenge this would be a Nissan Z, a Toyota Supra. And then of course you could go more expensive and you could go with, say, a Porsche 911T. But that's gonna be a little bit more dinero. But let me know what you think about the style, especially this blue ember color. I'm kind of over it, but, or I should say vapor blue, excuse me. I'm over both of them, blue ember and vapor blue. If I'm getting a Mustang, it's gonna be grabber blue. So let me know if you're still digging this vapor blue. Now, at the front of the business, you'll notice you get a unique grille to the Dark Horse gloss black with our gunmetal flat gray pony there. More functionality on the bottom. And then I think my favorite part of the styling of the new Dark Horse is how they have those open, almost like nostrils. That's really what Ford wanted them to be, is nostrils on a horse to help breathe in all that cool air, because we do have a twin throttle body setup on this Coyote powered Mustang. Now, as we rise up, you got that classic long hood, functional heat extractor, because if you have a performance car, it's gonna build more heat, and it's nice to have functionality, unlike, say, the Toyota Supra, which all the vents are all just for show and no go. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. I'm digging these flat gunmetal gray V-spoke wheels, 19-inch wheel tires up front are 255 on the width, 40 series sidewall. You got those beefy 6-piston Brembo calipers in flat black, and those rotors are over 15 inches in diameter. So you're gonna have not only more performance under the hood, but also better braking performance. Of course, they fine-tune the suspension, all 4 corners. And with the aerodynamics, the way they shape the front fascia especially is to give us not only better airflow, but more downforce. And of course, they wrap the tires. Now, Mustangs come with Pirellis, rather than in the past, on a performance Mustang, you would have Michelins. Going down the side with the vapor blue, it's got a nice metal flake to it, but I'm bored. The Dark Horse badge, flat gray on the mirror caps, just like up front. And then from the side, you got that classic Mustang fastback silhouette. If you ever wonder why a 1965 fastback Mustang is worth more than a notchback, it's because they're better looking and more people like fastbacks than the notchback. So you got that fastback design, Out on the rear tire setup, you're gonna get a little bit more rubber to meet the road. So you got 275 on the width, 255s up front, 275 on the width. Of course, we got Brembos on the rear as well on this Performance Dark Horse. You got a limited slip diff, 373 gears. You got a rear diff cooler. You got, of course, your engine oil cooler. And we have the Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. Now swinging around out back, this is your standard Dark Horse rear wing. You got the gunmetal gray finish again, the flat gray, with a little bit of gloss black on the supports. An enlarged Dark Horse badge. I'm still on the fence about the whole Dark Horse thing. The badge doesn't really do it for me. Like, I look at my Shelby and I see the Cobra, the snake. That's what it's all about. That, I just think of Mr. Ed. But that's just me. You do have your triple taillight set up in that sequential fashion, and then dropping it like it's hot, you do get a unique rear diffuser, those unique Ford Performance exhausts, enlarged tips, flat black, slash cut, gonna let that coyote sing like it's never been heard of before. And then I'm really digging how they painted the trunk area rather than had gloss black. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what kind of muscle is underneath it. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Underneath the hood, you'll notice that big, huge strut tower brace from one side to the other, really stiffen up the front end with the Dark Horse badge on it. That 5-liter, we got the 5-liter Coyote V8, 500 horsepower. The sad news is, though, you're still stuck with the regular torque amount, 418 pound-feet of torque. But with this engine, you'll notice those twin throttle bodies sucking that air in. And then, of course, what about performance? With the 6-speed manual, if you know how to do the dance, it's 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Top speed around 168 miles an hour. And then when it comes to the road courses, that's really where this Dark Horse is going to shine. Yes, it does fast line, straight line speed very quickly, but it's also about the twisty bits as well. If you're wondering about MPGs, you're looking at the wrong car. You're basically looking at around, in the city, around 14 MPGs. But it's not about miles per gallon, it's about smiles per mile. But why don't we go ahead, I know something that'll make you smile, we'll fire this up and have a little bit of an eargasm. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Mustang Dark Horse. The interesting thing is that this is basically like a bare bones base Dark Horse. I've actually never sat in one before. So this is gonna be interesting to share with you. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, if we're talking about affordability and we're talking about performance cars, usually those two don't go together, but how much is this? MSRP for this particular car is $66,000. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. So what you're gonna notice on this entry level is they actually have cloth on the door panel. Very interesting. That is a way that they kind of cut corners to lower the price. You still have that faux leather with the blue stitching. Everything else is blacked out, no gloss black. Large door pocket. You could go ahead and get 2 Big Macs in there and a small fry, and that's about it. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, because it is a Dark Horse, you do get your chassis number, and then slide it on in. All Mustangs get those ginormous billboard screens. 13.2 inch, 12.3. What I do like about it is how there's a lot of functionality to it. What I don't like about it, you already know. It's not integrated into the dash very well, and everything is in the touchscreen, which things like AC controls should not be in the touchscreen. But you do get heated seats, no ventilated seats in this Dark Horse because it is entry level. And of course we have that active exhaust. We're gonna make it nice and loud when we go on throttle together. Working our way down, that's red, almost like atomic fireball start stop button. Down below, you got a place for 4 track day Twinkies. USB-C, USB-A, 12 volt. You better get a radar detector. You're gonna wind up in jail. Nice blue stitching. This is where the magic happens. Remember how when your parents had the door closed and they said knock before you come in, they were making the magic happen? This is where you make the magic happen. That Tremec 6-speed manual transmission with the titanium 3D printed shift knob. Love that with the gear pattern on top. Look at those throws. I'm getting excited right about now. More stitching. This is your drift e-brake, so you could be like Von Gittin Jr. and you know, put it right into a pole. 2 cup holders. There's your Mustang key fob. Flip it around. You got your nice buttons on the back. Super soft with your stitching. And then you open this up. You got another 12 volt. And you got enough room in there, I would say, for at least a pair of driving gloves, some sunglasses, and maybe some cologne. Like you're going to go pick up your hot date and you got to douse yourself with your favorite cologne. I remember my father, every time we would go out somewhere in his Shelby GT350, his 69 Shelby GT350, he'd always like splash himself with Stetson. So when I smell Stetson, I think back to being a kid. It's kind of weird. Seats, they're cloth, which is kind of crazy. Never seen that. 2-tone. You do have manual back and manual bottom, or should I say a power bottom? I hate the way they do that in these Mustangs. Flip it back, more cloth seats with the 2-tone. I do like the 2-tone. The cloth is very durable. You'll be able to easily put, I would say, a mannequin back there. You know, if you're one of those people that maybe you have a hard time finding a date and you want people to know that you're the man, I guess you could put a mannequin back there. Be kind of weird. That's for sure. I think Steven did that once, but that's another video for another day on a different channel. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel in this Dark Horse. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your Dark Horse sill plate to welcome you. On this bare bones Dark Horse, you're just getting black pedals. No aluminum pedals whatsoever. That's where they're cutting some of the costs. Still have the electric bottom and the manual back. It's just crazy. Manual back with the, I don't get it. I don't get it. Plenty of headroom in here. The steering wheel, you're still getting the micro suede material, the Alcantara on the steering wheel with the leather and the blue stitching. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then of course you do have your 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. I do like the way you could get real cutesy with this and change the gauges. Like you could have your classic 67, 66 gauges. My personal favorite, the Fox body gauges, or Steven's favorite, the SVT Cobra gauges from 99 to 01. So very cool to be able to easily change that up. There's a trunk. You could put stuff in it. I don't care. What I care about is what I think what you really care about. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this Dark Horse. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Mustang Dark Horse. We got that Tremec 6-speed manual. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this. On throttle, here we go! This car means business. That naturally aspirated V8 pulls all the way up to 7,500 RPM. And then of course, being able to row through the gears with such accuracy. It's like you're performing brain surgery with this thing. That's how accurate each gate of the 6-speed manual is. Visibility of the gauges are easy. I just don't love the appearance of how it all comes together. But visibility out the front is great. Out the back, the seats are actually very, very comfortable once you get the back position where you want it. Because like I said, the manual back is kind of a bummer on all Mustangs. They all have manual backs. So that's really, really bizarre that they chose to do that. When you're in track mode, which we are right now, I have that large gear indicator. That really is perfect to have that right in the center viewing area. But the V8 sounds so good in this car. And to think about, like, yeah, if you go Porsche, you could get a manual. You're gonna be paying almost twice as much for a 911T. If you go Supra, it's gonna be a little bit less, but you're getting a lot less different performance goodies. And the manual is not nearly as good in the Supra as it is in this Mustang. The Tremec is one of the best. I mean, I know the 911 GT3 has an amazing transmission. The 911T has an amazing transmission. But let's be real, this Tremec, for the money, it's simply superb. Now, it's nice that they do have more of a bare bones dark horse for those that maybe want to do your own mods. You know, you want to swap out your seats. You're going to make a lot of changes. I just wish that they chose some other areas to cut out or cut back on rather than the direction that they went in. But still nice to have the Mustang. Still nice to have a dark horse, a performance version of it, and still nice to have the manual transmission. If you haven't seen my original media drive review of the Mustang GT, the one that we had the drift handle or the drift brake, it's actually quite fun to use in the right environment. It's something that you're not going to use on a regular basis. If you're noticing smoke going across the hood of this dark horse, it's not coming from the dark horse, it's coming from the diesel powered F350 work truck that is next to us. So don't be alarmed. Everything, I promise, is fine. All right, guys, pulling away from the light. The clutch is a little heavy, but it's perfect to modulate, and it's got a good pickup point, which is important. It's not like an on-off switch, so I think you're gonna enjoy the clutch action. And then, of course, the sound of that Coyote. It's impressive. It really, really is. You ready? Time to merge. On throttle, here we go. Love the pops, the bangs, all the sound coming from it. This shift knob, titanium shift knob, is not only a thing of beauty, but it's perfect right in the placement of your palm. Remember, you really shouldn't be putting much force into your shifting. It should be a nice, I don't want to say laid back, but a light, gentle, gingerly touch. If you've been doing your shifting because you learned how to do it by watching Fast and the Furious, wrong method, wrong form. Nice, light, just this part of your hand. You don't even need to grab it, to be honest with you, if you're doing it right. Easy to heel toe downshift in this, but it also has automatic rev match downshifting. I'm gonna do my own heel toe just for fun. You ready? Fourth gear, on throttle, here we go. On the brakes, look at this. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, nice. Round and around and around we go. On throttle! It just turns your brain to mush how this thing accelerates, how it sounds, and definitely how it makes you feel. And that's what this car does so well. Let's see how she handles. Second gear, look at this. Nice! Let her scream. And that's another thing, is that I remember back in the day driving Fox body Mustangs, that third gear, going from second to third, is a bear to hit. But in this car, It's like you're Winnie the Pooh and you got your paw in a big old barrel of honey. Big old jar of honey. That's what it feels like. Nice. I'm loving this. I could do this all day. Ready? Second gear. On throttle! Yeah! Thankfully, I have my towel. Wow. You're gonna have all sorts of gasms in this car. That's how awesome it is. And for the price, like I said, nothing's gonna touch it manual-wise. Nothing at all. Here we go. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Finally nice to get a manual dark horse, for God's sakes. So glad I could share this with you, but we got to get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up before I get myself into trouble. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day. I mean, anytime you're behind the wheel of a manual transmission powered performance car, it's going to be a great damn day, unless you don't know how to drive a manual. That's going to be a stressful, miserable day. But we definitely got to thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, and Tracy getting us access to this bare bones. This is the entryway into the dark horse. Very interesting to see how it comes appointed from the factory. But let me know what you think. For the price, is this the best way to go, the most affordable way to go to get your V8 kicks on Route 66 and rode through those gears with a manual transmission, a Tremec of all things? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Got to give it up to Steven. Steven. He's here. He's been working on his physique. And basically, he has a local artist that's going to create a statue of him. So can't wait to see that, Steven. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.